Hello again out in the crypto world. Today I want to talk more on ScPrime. I know there's a lot of guys out there talking about ScPrime. I want to give a different angle on it. I want to kind of start reviewing more, like we promised at the beginning of the year, the white papers, and going through the white papers so we get more detail on exactly how this great project is going to function. Functioning now, but it's going to function in the future. It's new, it's a good opportunity, so pay attention, please. Let's go through this together and we can work out some details, answer some questions, because I think it's a good project to support. I think it's got a good long future for it too, for some passive income. Let's talk about it. Before we begin, I need to make a disclaimer. Here at DeFi IoT Latin America, we are not professional financial advisors, or are we paid by any company to promote certain products. We here at DeFi IoT Latin America, we invest our own money. We take our own risks. We learn, we make mistakes, and we share what we learn, our successes and our mistakes with you. So this video is for educational purposes only. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe, hit the bell, give us a thumbs up, and write to us what more you'd like to learn. Let's go in now and see what else we can share with you. Great. Hey, let's jump right into this right now. Look, ScPrime going to the screen. It's a distributed data center. It's exactly what it is. Basically, in summary, it's going to go through those maybe who don't know. And the purpose today is not to go over things we've already talked about. And we're going to just go into more of the guts and the detail of how this project works for a bit and go through the white paper. Now, I'm going to read it from here because I want to I got certain spots. I don't want to go through the whole thing. But there's things I want to highlight and read verbatim what they say, talk a little bit about that. And yeah, hopefully leave you better informed, because we here at DeFi IoT, we think that this project has a good long-term market to it. Look. There's about $800 billion, for what I've heard in numbers, going back and forth, what I've read, that are going to be produced in this data storage network based off of the metaverse and or business and so forth going digital, as well as you're going to have banks and so forth going digital. A lot of those banks will try to provide for themselves, and they'll remain centralized. But that also means AWS with Amazon, Google, etc. They're not going to have the capacity nor the flexibility to grow with how this is going to grow. Now, look, just in brief, ScPrime is this distributed network where we as a people can buy a device. You could do your own too, but let me warn you on that right now, that that is going to be less incentivized later. Buying a device from them, where now you can't do it because they're sold out, but you can go on a waiting list. And I recommend here, we recommend that if you want to get one, do your own homework on this. But if you want to get one, get on the waiting list. This device has a software plugged into it. We've had our engineer trying to hook up a Raspberry Pi with some data, and we get on, we get kicked off. Now, they're going through, because they're growing so fast, that if they're trying to set a standard now, from what I'm understanding from the AMAs, is, we get on the network and then we get booted off. I don't know if it's a Raspberry Pi or what it is. So I'm going to bring in a different Raspberry Pi, a little bit higher memory, and see what we can do with that Raspberry Pi. But Raspberry Pi is not where they want to go with the quality issue. We'll get into that later. So basically what this is this. Instead of Amazon, for example, having these huge computer warehouses that actually, their carbon footprint is enormous. And it's funny because you don't hear any of the news or people bagging on Amazon or on Google or on Apple for their huge database centers and their carbon footprints, right? And then they have a huge carbon footprint. What do we do with these cell phones when they're done? I mean, how do we discard these things? They don't just disintegrate. And nobody's talking about that with them. They're just going to go after Bitcoin and Ethereum and these these miners, ASIC and GPU miners, they say waste a lot of electricity, they're leaving a carbon footprint. Well, that is a fabricated lie in and of itself. There's some truth there, and there was truth there, but remember, electricity, they say you need coal to generate electricity. Well, a lot of electricity now, especially in Bitcoin mining, even in GPU mining, is going renewable energy. That can be shown in, especially amongst the big companies. Look, I don't want to get into that today. What irritates me is nobody bags on these big tech companies that are in bed with the governments. And you hear about that. So here's the problem. My Amazon, Google, Apple, they get our data. They take our data and they sell it. They make a lot of money with data. Data is more valuable than oil these days. And that's not my quote. Look, they take our data and they sell it. They pry into our private lives. As I was telling you, just recently, an event in Las Vegas, they showed Amazon and some of their devices in the bathroom. You sit on that dang toilet, and the toilet takes your data. Well, I don't know what kind of data it's taken, how many flushes or the weight of your stuff you leave in the toilet, or what it is, I don't know. But it's getting ridiculous how much data they're tracking on us, and we're letting them do it, and we don't get anything for it. ScPrime, what they're doing is this. They're promising we distribute this network throughout the whole world. And we break down in these little tiny bytes, if you will. I'm going to break it down in little small fractions of information so nobody can steal anybody's one information. You never have all the information. It's all divided out and it's replicated, right? So it becomes a decentralized, so your data is not misused and it's safe. It can't be hacked. What if somebody's system goes down? Well, you got to replicate it in somebody else's system. And so it's continued replication. So when you go to pull it up as an end user, if you have a photo, whatever it is, it just comes right back to you. Right? And it's encrypted. So it makes it more private, makes it decentralized, and your data is protected. It's a great concept. Fantastic concept, because where these big businesses are going to go, right now they have no other choice. So ScPrime is not alone in this industry, but they have a software, and I like what they're doing. So let's talk a little bit about this. So ScPrime, they have this miner. Let's go here. There's their miner. It's one of the two miners. You get one of 16 terabytes, 64 terabytes. They're not cheap. They're about $1,500, $3,500 for them. Sure, you get a little rebate back. But I want to talk about a few issues here that kind of concern me. Let's go in here and see how it works, basically, okay? Let's look at the rent here. The first income storage provider earns rent. Providers enter into contracts primarily with SCP for sales to business customers, but also with community users with data to store, okay? So third parties will come in to ScPrime. They will look at us as the providers, and they're going to rate us. They're going to go through and rate us, basically, of our uptime and how consistent we are and so forth. And there's a few things I just want to highlight here in the white paper to get clarified. So I don't want this video to be very long. What I want to do is kind of break this down and go through this a little bit by bit through the white paper so people really understand what this is and what the future has for this whole industry. Not just ScPrime. There's others out there and others will come along. As I said, this is a $800 billion industry that's going to grow between now and 2030 and beyond. You just imagine what kind of data is going to be stored in the metaverse. And Meta, remember, Facebook is not the metaverse. There's just one little portion of it. There's a big platform. There's a whole world out there of metaverse, and many people are grabbing their little worlds like Facebook is, or Meta, as well as others. Even MXC is doing that right now. So, in summary, we understand what the project is. Now, this project is in its infancy. It just is kicking off now, like at the end of January. They had their beta stages. Now they're kicking off. They got out the first miners. And the good thing, if you didn't get one, the second miner's coming out. They're apparently going to be better than the first miners. Going to be a little more adaptable. And here's the thing. You can build your own. You can do what's called DIY, do your own. I saw, and it's ironic because we had on the agenda to talk about this today, and then last night I saw a message popped up, Tactical Investing was talking about the same subject on ScPrime. But he talked about a few things I want to clarify. One was building your own, and he wants to build his own and see if it works or not. He was honest about that. But here's what ScPrime's saying, is that if you want to get the perks and the benefits, because they're going to reward not just by paying you about $6 to $8 starting out per terabyte. Okay, so you can do the math on that, right? If you go like, okay, 8 times 7, right? And then you do your math and you add your 600 to it, you know, what are you going to come out with? Well, okay. So what are you going to come out with a month? Well, it all depends. $6 to $8 to $10 a month. You're going to come out anywhere between $400 to maybe $800 a month starting out. As you build your terabytes up, you can make more money. Now, some people say you can make more money than that. What I heard on the AMA the other day was, look, let's be honest. We're going to make about $6 to $8 a terabyte and try to go up to $10 a terabyte. So those are real numbers that came directly from the CEO of ScPrime. Now, you can imagine if you have 16 terabytes, you know, whatever terabytes you have there, you can just multiply that. Now, that's not all going to be used right now. There's more data storage providers now on the network than they have actually clients, but that has to happen. They have to saturate the network first, like with everything else, and they have to bring in the clientele. So if you're going to invest in this, you can invest in this, buying it now or ordering it now and getting it later in the year, and then setting it up and leave it running. When you will get picked by ScPrime, one, you'll have priority if you have a device directly from ScPrime, because they have to have a standard. And the standard, they have to meet compliance. They can't go to some big business and say, hey, we got, you know, 500,000 of these miners out there, or these data, I shouldn't say miners, the data databases, and they all consist of, well, they're like a mixture of our computers, and they have, you know, these Raspberry Pis, and they have some of their computers, and some have old storage on it. And that's something I saw yesterday too on Tactical Investing. And with all the respect, you're like, hey, you got all those old memories, you can put them in there. That's not what they want. That's exactly what they don't want, and we don't need. We need, if you're going to do it, buy new, good memories. Now, if you've got somebody bought like a year ago or something like that, and they're really good, you know, they're high quality and they meet the standards, then fine, you can use that. But Raspberry Pis is not where they want to go. And they're talking now that they're going to be 2 different tiers. Then they are eventually probably, they said very probably what we're going to do is we're going to go just with our own devices once they become enough. So he said the DIYs will never go away. That's true. But he said that could even actually go into a whole different tier. We will provide 2 different options. We'll provide our option, which we're going to give them the device. Those that meet the compliance standards, we're going to say, test this. This is what we can provide for you. And if the company likes that, that's what we're going to provide. So those who have the device are going to get more data opportunities and make more money than those at DIY, okay, than those that do it yourself. So just keep that in mind. Now, we bought a system to do it ourselves because the YouTubers out there in the first place, and I had the opportunity 2 times, to buy these hotspots in the first edition. And I let them go because I listened to other YouTubers and my engineers here saying, we can just do it ourselves. Look, they gave everything here. Well, that was fine. But then so many started onboarding that they started rejecting them. They're looking for certain standards now. So here's the bottom line. They are going to pay incentives to those who have the buy the device from ScPrime. That's called the XaMiner. That was this one here. I just showed you. That's these. Okay, they're a little bit expensive, but you're going to get different perks down the road. You get some kickback now on it, but the idea is you got to keep it up. If you're in this area where you have some internet failure, like we have here, right, especially in Latin America, then you're going to have some issues, maybe losing your rebate you get back. That's a possibility. One other complaint I want to address here, going through this white paper, and I want to do another video and go through this in more detail. Today I just kind of want to give the summary of what we've been hearing out there, is that they're saying, well, a negative, and that was the same on Tactical Investing yesterday, and he was honest about it. He said, you know, that this could be, he sees both sides, but I wanted to explain something on that. I didn't like it either, that we have to give a deposit, basically, right? We have to give a guaranteed deposit. Well, what's that do? That helps ScPrime go out and find clients, because they say, look, if they fail, if so many of them fail, or one of them fails and they have data and they don't respond when they need to respond, or their downtime is more than what they're supposed to be, which is like 96%, you have to be uptime, that if they don't, they lose that deposit. So you're 1-to-1. So basically, if I'm going to charge, $10 a month, then I have to have the equivalent of ScPrime to back that $10 a month for every terabyte, right? So if I have 64 terabytes out there, then I'm going to have $640 in ScPrime, basically in collateral sitting there. Now, if I keep my uptime and I don't do anything fraudulent to that system, that's a guarantee to the end user to come in and say, hey, they got penalized if they try to do something to our data, or they hack our data, or they try to, which is very difficult to do. Because remember, it's broken up in little tiny pieces, and it's sent everywhere, and it's duplicated and replicated. So it's very safe and secure, unlike what AWS, Google, Amazon, and Apple can do in these other big data providers. Now, there's other providers out there too, but most of them link into AWS or these other big providers, right? They just bring it right back to them again. So it's going to reduce that carbon footprint, for one. So it's more environmental friendly. So we're supporting something that's good. Many people are concerned about that. It's also going to make it safer, more secure, and keep our data safer and secure. And right now, we cannot trust big tech with our data. And that's been shown, especially over the last 2 years with this health issue, what they've been doing with our data. So it's a good project to get involved in, supporting a good cause, and it has a huge potential area of increased income and for a long period of time. I mean, right now, let's close this looking at this real quick. I want to show you something they got here. Look at this graph. You're talking here of improving. Just now between, let's go here, 2020, you've got about 47 zettabytes, right? And remember, zettabytes is like a billion terabytes, right? And so you've got a lot of data here in 2020. Look at the curve between 2025. That in itself, I wrote that down, that's 372% increase in the next 4 years of the data storage industry. Now look at the swing we're going to do by 2030. Right? And then going up all the way, 2030, we have a 1,530% increase, which is incredible over what we are today, over the next, what do we got, 9 years? So we're talking about an $800 billion industry. Is there money to be made there? Yes. Is it a necessity? Yes. Does it solve a problem? Yes. And it's blockchain, it's encrypted. Is it private? Yes. We here at DeFi IoT Latin America, we like this idea. We are going to go heavy in this area. If you want to do that, do your research. We're going to break down this white paper even more, going through each week and break down and kind of go through and read sections of it and talk about it. Today was kind of a basic overview of the white paper, more specific, and responding to the questions. Why the collateral? The collateral guarantees the system that we're not going to monkey with it. And they have systems in place that also guarantees that people aren't going to be out there spoofing like they are doing with Helium or even with Planet Watch. They're not going to be able to do that, or with MXC having farms, right? So it's going to reduce that. It's going to make it a more secure and more confident and a trustless network. DeFi IoT Latin America, if you like what we're bringing, you want to hear more about ScPrime and other projects where we bring you the truth because we get involved with it ourselves. We don't get paid to do this. Nobody pays us to do this. We find the projects that are good. There's a lot of projects come across our desk. I don't talk about them all. I mention some out there, throw them out to you and say, hey, look, just let you know. I'm going to do one later on today too. Displays after recording this, I'm going to do another one. We're going to throw it out today just so you see what the project is, but we don't know what it is. It's going to throw it out there to you. If we come behind it and we say, look, we know it can do this, it's because we've done our research on it. And in most cases, we've already experimented. In this case, we couldn't experiment because I can't get the actual miner yet. We're on the waiting list for a few of them. And because we're trying with the Raspberry Pi, apparently we got kicked off the system. We can't get in the system. We're still working on that. However, we want to increase that quality and give ScPrime a higher level. And that's going to bring us more clients. So DIY, doing yourself, is not suggested. Please, if you haven't subscribe to our channel and hit the bell, give us a thumbs up, talk to us. Tell us what else you know about this. What are you doing? How are you doing with this project? Talk to you tomorrow.